has been open in the entire series. Very potent in the all stages pretty much of the game. Great push in the early, great transition into a very heavy scaling carry in the later stages.
And I can imagine the immediate response of the Zeri into this. Again, the 100% win rate, but also keeping some of that sustained damage here. As Corki, that lock-in for Xiaohu, a big moment for him to have a lot of presence there. If Tian can grab this one away for the first time this series, would be big shifting into the way that Tian can play this one. A lot more of the tempo, a lot more of the go buttons in his case. And also, his lillia is probably one of the best in the league.
Let me just glaze up Tian right here on this lillia pick. 6 games throughout the entirety of Season 14. 100% win rate, 22 KDA. His lillia is as dominant as can be, and he has been given over to him. I love the pivot here. Instead of the Ashe going over to the Ezreal, free up Meiko. Oh, okay, listen, it's on red side. It's on red side. Much easier to transition on red side because you can actually dive blue side threats under tower. Let's see what Weibo Gaming are to respond with. I'm expecting Breathe to go also with something tanky. Potentially, we might even see a Sante coming through.
Wonder what kind of lockdown they want from the jungle to try to pair up against Tian on the lillia. This was something that Weibo banned away in game number 1 when they went with the lillia. So maybe seeing it as a potential answer into this pick as well with the spacing it provides in the Nature's Grasp is going to be this Maokai locked in for Tarzan.
Now, the funniest thing is, I was watching Casual yesterday, and he was pretty dead set that Corki plus Maokai is one of the strongest combinations right now in the entire meta, and it does look pretty strong. It has won pretty much most recent games that the whole combo has played together. I feel like one was only lost in the LCK, but that was about it. Corki plus Maokai, very, very strong. Along engage, disengage, damage coming through. The split sides of the damage as well. As Breathe replies with a quote-unquote counter to Renekton the Gnar.
You like his team fight setup there as well, potential entrances, but it's about using the timings, and that makes the bar of execution go up just a little bit higher. The Zeri is immediately locked in there for Creme, and I think that's huge. Again, 100% win rate in that regard, but also now trying to contest that damage source from the Corki in mid lane. As we're in the second phase, it is the Ashe ban and the Kalista ban, all focused down towards this bot lane 2v2.
So many AD carries still up and available. You've got the Ezreal, you've got the Kai'Sa, the Jhin, the Varus that Light has been resorting to this entire time. And I'm honestly expecting JackeyLove to go towards potentially something like the Ezreal. It frees up Meiko a little bit more towards the tops of the map, and I feel like this is where his attention needs to be tended this time around. Having that lillia grab Meiko on something that can play make like the Leona, the Rel that he showed, the Alistar even better as well. One of his best champions, and sort of facilitates setup for that lillia.
Anything that can make that bar of execution go down a little bit more. We see that being kind of the name of the game so far in terms of being able to win and take that control of the map. The Rel, a really nice lock away against Meiko. Also that Braum, ever present from Chris, could be taken away now. Maybe some safety, but also more so focus on the marksmen that are going to be joining this one in a double marksman rampant composition that we will have for both Weibo and Top Esports. Some safety down there could be important. The Ezreal is locked in for JackeyLove.
I'm not gonna lie, I do not want to see the Jhin. However, the Jhin kind of sets up pretty nicely. You've got Nature's Grasp as well coming through for the Maokai. You've got the Gnar. I don't have a problem with Jhin, man. It's not that I like to see.
You got a problem with Jhin.
Take it up with me. No, I don't have a problem with Jhin, and Light does seem to favor the champion. However, I'd like to see a Kai'Sa. I'd like to see something that dives deep together with the Gnar and the Maokai, but I'm going to get the Jhin anyway. Why am I saying?
You can write to me. I'm the head of the Jhin fan club. Go ahead and give you my P.O. box. And write an apology.
Send my complaints in.
Yeah, or that, I guess. I'll take those. Use them as fire for the show. Anyways, it's all about the engage tools now for Weibo. They need something to set up all these tools, and Leona is going to be perfect for that for Crisp.
They've got so much set up from the side of Weibo Gaming, and that's missing from the side of Top Esports. We mentioned earlier how Alistar is one of the legendary champions Meiko does play, and he does set up pretty nicely. He is going to be the sole engage or disengage tool from Top Esports. So a lot lies on Meiko's shoulders this game to make it work.
In his storied career, his most played champion. It's incredible to watch this man work. He's also had an incredible season so far. Lackluster couple last series. Really need now him off the back of JackeyLove step up to get his own. Even if he has all those most played on Alistar, he's still at a 67+% win rate on that champion. We'll see if he makes the difference here, and it's going to be a lot about the continuously contested when Weibo seemingly were on top, and that's more of the top that I know. We're getting into game number 3 on the road for the Silver Dragon Cup. It's the lower bracket finals and game 3 between Top Esports and Weibo Gaming.
I'm going to assume that we kind of missed the Gyos because there have been a lot of them through games number 1 and number 2. But this is serious time for both of these teams tied 1-1 apiece. Now, no Brom shenanigans in the early game. It's much harder
No, you don't want to get
invade.
7 kills early. You don't want to. You just don't want to toss the game up.
It was fun.
It was fun. I loved
Honestly,
it.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. However, both of these junglers can breathe a little bit in this game number 3. It's going to be a little bit more simple. Again, Tian onto his legendary lillia, 100% win rate the entire year on the champion, 22 KDA throughout 6 games. He's got the faster jungler. He's got one of his most prominent champions. Let's see if he can make it work here in game number 3.
And I actually expect there to be a lot more focus on the actual invades into the bot lane for both these junglers. Not only is Light going to want to have a little bit of an advantage here to put some pressure on a JackeyLove on the Jhin, you need to have an advantage on the Jhin to be in that position to set people up in a lot of cases and to finish off a lot of kills. I think it's a non-regarded part of Jin's kit is that he does do a good job if you position well to finish off fights. But both junglers are going to be pathing down towards this bot side, and whoever gains this prio early is going to be in a better position.
Absolutely, and so far you can see that Top Esports with Meiko taking control of the second brush in the lane. They played a little bit more aggressive. They got the first level 2. They're already stacking 2 waves on top of one another. So definitely they're going to have that priority through that bot side of the map for Tian. On the Lillia as well, you are way, way faster than the Maokai is. Don't get me wrong, Maokai is still a pretty fast clearing champion for a tank and a facilitator and an engage tool. So I feel like Tarzan will be more than happy piloting the champion right here, being able to set up for his team. It's all up to Tian, try and find the angles to carry through those early skirmishes.
Both these junglers know that role oh so well. That's why I'm curious at Tarzan's answer with the Maokai here and a little bit more of that facilitation gameplay. But we have seen both these junglers actually dip their toes into that style here and again. And I think that's why we get to see the Ivor bans towards Tian a lot of the time, which is not, you know, if you think of the track record of Tian, it's not a ban that you would expect to be seeing consistently in every single game they play. But here we are.
It's just so annoying, man. the champion is just so annoying
Bring
to play
a double
against.
marksman comp and give him Ivor, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's such a jobless jungler as well. He doesn't clear jungle. He just looks at the camp, kisses the camp, leaves the camp. That's it. That's it. He doesn't have to do all the hard work, as 369 is doing hard work on the top side of the map. So the reason why I said quote-unquote that Gnar is a counter to Renekton is because a lot of the times, if piloted by the right person, you can definitely get advantage on the melee versus ranged, as Tian is looking to get advantage down bot lane.
Meiko tried to get the engage combo there. Chris getting locked down, gonna have to burn the flash out.
Flash.
Meanwhile, top side. Oh, they got the play! 369, rolling nines, baby!
Counter or not, 369 finds the mini Gnar and instantly punishes. I was the first one to say after game number 1, I do not want to see 369 on the Renekton for a while. He's had 4 very poor performances back to back to back onto the Renekton, right here into the Gnar. He can take control by engaging onto the mini Gnar. I get back to the conversation. You can very easily bully a Renekton learning how to play pretty much the edge of the fight and going into Mega Gnar form, which is melee versus melee. Now the flash right here instantly responded by 369 was so clutch, because if Breathe gets to walk out there, then 369 cannot follow up anymore after burning his flash. So great stuff right there. Instant response with the flash W from 369 pretty much wins him that duel.
Some excitement, coaching staff, but also some reservation, knowing the work is started but not nearly done. As there will be objectives coming up now. Dragon is on the table, coming soon. Tian headed back down towards that side of the map. It's interesting, Tarzan was very just willing to concede a lot of this side of the map because of the presence that Top Esports were having in that 2v2. But now he's going to be pathing back down towards this bot side, maybe contesting his own.
That is lillia heaven for Top Esports. You have blown 2 flashes on Crisp and Light, so that bot lane can never outpush JackeyLove and Meiko. They weren't to begin with, but even if they wanted to be aggro, they could never right now, because they are in threat of dying if Tian follows through that bot side. You've got 369 with an incredibly unprecedented advantage towards the top side of the map, diving Breathe, taking his flash, taking his life, taking his teleport early on. So that top lane is out of the question for Tarzan. And the only remaining member who has his summoner available is Xiaohu and Tarzan. So it's up to Tarzan to try and find some stability onto this map. Again, if Weibo Gaming bleed too much at 15, they find it very difficult to come back into their games. And even though there's a lot of scaling on the Corki, there's not much damage to fall back on if it goes into very late game.
I think Weibo might start feeling the presence and pressure of Tian's lillia here. He's just been able to be everywhere, it feels like, and the pace of play is much more akin to what we're used to for Top Esports. They're very known for trying to take little advantages early and snowballing it incredibly fast. Now, Tian is going to take the first spawn of Grubs up on this top side. There is no response from Weibo. We're going to be trying to reposition down towards bot side right now.
And that's what we wanted to see in game number 1. When I said Tarzan didn't have flash in game number 1, I wanted to see Meiko around the map. It just didn't happen. This time around, it was Meiko literally walking through Xiaohu's lane to get Tian towards those void grabs to stop Weibo Gaming from advancing or getting into this river. They had the threat of the Alistar right there. JackeyLove is fine. He's playing on an Ezreal versus double flashless bot lane. So he's gonna be more than healthy, staying down there, queuing through the waves, weaving in auto attacks on it as well. So that was great play right there. Again, Meiko has had to step up in this particular series. Him linking up with Tian is of pivotal importance for how Top Esports get to play the early games.
Little check-in on the map as well is that Tian is level 6. Tarzan going to be right behind him now, but that unlocks these positions very heavily. Not only the Nature's Grasp providing so much spacing around these objectives, but the Lilting Lullaby, if you connect onto the right members, I mean, you're just going to win these fights. So a couple things from these junglers that now not only is their pathing important early to get those advantages going, but their execution in these team fights are going to be extremely pivotal.
I feel like you mentioned it so well about the Nature's Grasp, and they have so many other abilities, right? The Curtain Call coming through from the Jhin, the fact that Jhin can play from far away, he's got the W, Leona, non-committal engage, doesn't have to go in if he doesn't need to. You've got the Gnar as well with quite a bit of poke together with the Corki, so Weibo Gaming can play from a distance if they want to, and there's a bunch of squishy members on the side of Top Esports, apart from Meiko, who's going to be their main tank and their main engage tool, right? So if Weibo Gaming want to, they can play from a certain amount of distance, because there are way too many short range or melee champions on the side of Top Esports that will have to commit their bodies in these fights.
We actually see not as much prio given over to the Dragon just yet, just some vision game being played around it down there as well. As the clears are going to continue to come through, Tian has reset, now has the couple pieces on his way to the Leandries. But is going to be still a little bit off of that one. Some pings from him coming over towards this Dragon spawn. And I think the 2v2 now, if Meiko can hit this level 6, is going to be kicking off very shortly. As 369 goes for another little tussle and to breathe, not going to find anything else.
As you mentioned, it level 6 onto Meiko already acquired. Tarzan has already set up seeds towards that bot side of the map. Weibo Gaming are looking to take control of the river. First Dragon has already, of course, spawned. Xiaohu trading onto Creme aggressively to try and get control over that mid wave, and we have a 3v3 towards the bottom of the map for a little bit of map presence.
This is our first moment that could break things open here. 3v3 kicking off. Now getting kicked back is Crisp. As Meiko goes for the alcove gameplay, JackeyLove, he goes wide. Nature's Grasp going to come across. Meiko trying to tank it up. Now Meiko getting low. Deadly Flourish. And now the curtain call as the performance opens up. It's a beautiful one from the Jhin and from Weibo. The fourth shot's not going to be just enough to take down Tian, but it is still the kill going over there.
A little bit of a miscoordination right there with JackeyLove and Meiko. JackeyLove still had the cleanse, so he could have tanked the root from Meiko and then insta-cleansed it so they both get out. Instead, it's Meiko tanking the root, ends up going down, which means they have to walk out of tower range. As 369 continues to bully Breathe underneath his tower, but this is going to be a dragon started by Weibo Gaming. Top Esports still running fast from base, but they're not going to be fast enough. There's 4 members of Weibo, and they'll take the first dragon.
Tian was thinking about me. He has still Lilting Lullaby if he wants to go for a combo there, but nothing else going to be there for Top Esports as they lose that premier dragon. We'll take a look back into the 3v3.
And this is pretty much a portal combat, right? Meiko, Crisp engages on Meiko, Meiko engages on Crisp. The 2 AD carries are trading on top of the 2 supports. And this is where it ends. This is where it should end. But JackeyLove stands still for that Trusa barrage and then doesn't tank the root. Plus the cleanse to let Meiko through, which means Meiko gets lost in the process. JackeyLove then has to flash over from the curtain call, and then Tian and JackeyLove are too low to stay underneath this tower, which means they lose a bunch of gold shoved underneath that tower from the bot lane of Weibo Gaming, as well as they dragon.
And right now on the map, if you look at it, Tarzan's the first one to Leandri's. It's not Tian. But it is going to be a Top Esports control of the grubby side of things. Although Tarzan is right around the corner. Nature's Grasp is coming right back up. Maybe they can deny at least the full grub again in here. But it will be 5 secured already by Top Esports and no real contest from Weibo. So all 6 go down. JackeyLove, he's over. He's overextending. He just got completely caught face checking the bush in topside. He is down. And now Meiko's trying to make his way out of it. He has flash, but he realizes it might just not be worth it. As Light is picking up a kill here too.
Top Esports gets 6 Void Grubs, but at what cost? They've lost both their bot laners. A bunch of pressure is going to be put down onto the top lane tier 1 as well from Weibo Gaming. Great response by Weibo. While this was going on, Breathe was actually stacking up his rage bar onto this Gnar on that bot lane and TP's in. Doesn't necessarily find anything, so he has to make the walk of shame back to his bot lane to find his tower a little bit tipped off by this Renekton. But let's watch this one more time. They are aware. JackeyLove is literally queuing through that pixel brush. They just get a little bit too overconfident and overextend.
So that decisiveness maybe coming back to bite them a little bit at the end. But now as we come back onto the map, there's a little bit of gold going the way of Weibo, but it's still a dead even game. First item's going to be coming up for a plethora of members. We already have the static shift completed for Light as well. Going to have a lot more opening up power there as JackeyLove Gnar can shift his way out of that one. And Light, you must have seen that coming. He's going to keep it open.
He's not letting him back through.
Yeah, you're not allowed. You're not allowed. There is a collapse, though, by Top Esports who were looking to potentially punish Light, but the rest of Weibo are also up this way.
Yeah, Tian is going to steal away the blue buff right here. As you can see, Xiaohu and Tarzan, as you very well mentioned, are going to be moving towards the top side. Creme just about gets out with his reset. And Tarzan could obviously look here to try and look if he can steal away the chickens, having numbers advantage over in the mid lane. Creme hasn't committed his TP just yet. He's going to do it now towards the top side of the map to try and defend the wave that Light is crashing in. And that will be that for now. You see Tarzan heading towards that bot side, getting some vision over there. About a minute and a half until the next dragon shows up. It will be the second one for Weibo Gaming, so starting to stack them early on. It's going to be of big advantage for them.
Take a look back at the TP play there in the pit as well.
That was it. He just TP'd and that was it.
That was it.
It
just
walked
walked
of
around.
shame down bot lane.
No big deal. The gear's spinning right now for Weibo, trying to find a response on the map. Crisp is by himself up here. Xiaohu has joined. 3 members of Top Esports looking around. They have all their ultimates available, trying to get these plates down before it falls. TP going to come in. Meiko looks for the plan of Xiaohu, but he's going to flash away. That's really nice. Crisp, though, getting low. Now under turret, and he's going to go down into the sunset. TES, they find the pick in topside, and now they can move this to the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Top Esports using that TP that they have in advantage. As we saw earlier, Breathe had TP'd previously into the skirmish we just watched. And now Top Esports have the advantage on this summoner spell on the map. 2-0. 369 redeeming himself on the pick of that Renekton. However, Weibo Gaming, they have the ultimates. Tarzan.
Oh, Tian tries to get him over the wall, but ended up getting a 3-man stun there from Meiko. As Tarzan, though, in the end, is gonna go down. Meiko will end up joining as well. So it's gonna be a nice little hefty trade there, but Tian ends up taking the Rift out. Oh! They actually caught 369 bagging on that ward, although he slices his way. Is fourth shot going to be enough? It's not nearly enough.
Doesn't have enough AD onto this Jhin to make it hurt even more. Bree's going to take some solo time with that tower, take something away from Top Esports. First tower to go down on the map overall. And the Dragon's coming up. This tower is going to be very, very influential as the Dragon has just spawned, and you bet that teams will be fighting over that Dragon. Second again for Weibo Gaming would be huge if they can start stacking right here. You can see the pings going down on your minimap. Having control through that bot lane allows you to move in through mid as well for Weibo. Take some control and start the Dragon already.
Actually, are just going to be able to burn this down very, very quickly and start up that later game insurance policy as well. We'll see what kind of soul they do end up grabbing here as well to try and maybe up the ante in that one. The 369's right around the corner. Tarzan's going to take out the Dragon here, but Meiko trying to set the pace for Tian coming out of the base there. Rift Herald still available for Top Esports. I wonder if they're going to try to use this lapse of presence from the side of Top Esports now. At least Weibo getting caught here in this replay.
I am not sure what Tarzan was thinking walking into this choke point right there, because you do not have vision of all the Top Esports members, and this is not a tank Maokai. This is a Liandry's first item Maokai. You walk up too far, you are literally as thin as a paper. You're gonna end up burning down. That's exactly what Top Esports did to him. Tarzan has found himself in a few of these situations where he doesn't necessarily respect the vision control too much that Top Esports have, and they are more than happy to pull the trigger on whichever champion they see right in front of them. Has been the case. This is why Top Esports has been so ruthless throughout this entire summer split as well. The fact that they are willing to take every skirmish that is thrown at them.
Here comes the Rift Herald play. They are going to get the charge in mid lane. See if Top Esports can just take this one outright. Do end up doing so. They will not be able to move forward any further. Did end up getting a little bit of extra gold on the Rift and keep their advantage here, though. Meiko is in a little bit of trouble. Going to pop that Unbreakable Will. Get away from the engage. That's also the Solar Flare utilized, but only a couple tools down from each side.
A little bit of unfortunate timing right there from Weibo Gaming. You had Crisp still coming through that base, wasn't necessarily in position to defend the tower. You saw Tarzan through the chickens, could have very easily thrown the ultimate over and tried to defend, but they weren't as a 5-man unit. So that mid lane tier 1 ends up going down. The Rift Herald going to good use for Top Esports, and slowly but surely they start opening up the map for themselves, and it starts becoming a big worry as we scale straight towards that late game. What type of damage is going to be on the side of Weibo Gaming? Because if you look over our Top Esports, it's very clear, very apparent. You've got double AD carries that scale really well into the late game, and a Lillia for that AP damage dose that you need in your team fights, in your mixed profiles in terms of damage. However, Weibo Gaming, even though Corki is one of the strongest AD carries to have in that late game, not only has he fallen behind to the Zeri, but also it seems like the only reliable source of damage coming through from Weibo Gaming, and this is getting very scary.
Moments of fright, moments of terror, the moments that the brave stand tall. And I know that both these teams want to take that step forward here in this best of 5. Take that match point moment, but it's really nice to see that we've kind of gotten to an even state in the way that both teams are playing towards a lot of the strengths we've seen building up to this point, right? It was not like this Top Esports team, who was so dominant for a majority of this split, to falter so heavily in their last series, but also in that game number 1 of this series in particular.
And it took them a while to rev back up. It took them a while, and it took a scaling composition, it took wombo combos, and it took a very easy to execute composition and draft in game number 2 to wake that Top Esports monster that we know that will fight you. And right here, it shows with their confidence. They've gone back to compositions that I don't necessarily that easy peasy to play. Only one engage and disengage button in the likes of Meiko onto this Alistar, and a lot of self-agency when it comes to every other single pawn in that composition for top esports. So far, they seem to be taking full control of the map, but that's also because the laners are finally doing well. Look at 369, 3-0-1 on this Renekton. That is a scale Renekton. 20 minutes in, being 3-0 on Renekton is very, very scary. 2 items just completed as well. You've got Creme doing well for once in this series too, so everything is falling into place.
Crazy what happens when you get the Zeri that's had 100% win rate. It's a lot. It was also the Stride Breaker completed first item, by the way, for 369, not that Black Cleaver, but they just get the Sterix Gauge as well. So those second item spikes actually going to be pretty huge, honestly, for both sides. But I think more importantly, Tian, having that Seeker's Arm Guard, that is such a big moment in these fights for the Lillia now, though. Speaking of big moments, 369 has gone big and is trying to take down Breathe. Breathe trying to get Gnar here and trying to get to a little bit of safety, but Meiko has come down to make sure he cannot, and it's going to be a 2v1 going the way of top esports, though. Breathe trying to fight his way tooth and nail out, gets a nice double wall up there, but jumps to his death. Meanwhile, they do end up getting the TP. Creme almost takes a chunk of his health, but does leave the top lane turret to Xiaohu in his own. Top esports going to try to answer with some tier 2 turrets of their own.
Top esports are pressuring through the bot side of the map. Weibo Gaming pressuring through the only lane that is available to them, which is the top side. And it's good to see, in general, that response coming through from Weibo Gaming when you are up against the clock, when one of your sides is being attacked, to see the instant reply. Look at Xiaohu! Went top side, took the tower, instant TP's tempo bot side for that tower. And very importantly, to be around that bot side since the next dragon's coming up. Breathe will have teleport in 3 seconds when he's back up and available for Weibo Gaming. This fight is very important. It's so point if they can manage to secure that next dragon.
Big things to look at. Nature's Grasp / ulting Lullaby combos from the junglers, but more so these supports finding the big engages. They are the go buttons, the follow through, the flanks, those things coming from Breathe and 369, but taking the presence from this mid lane and moving it down is Weibo's name of the game. Top esports going to try to move in this choke point, but that's difficult.
You see top esports, they're trying to get through that choke point, as you
flank.
mentioned, but the highlighted ward for 369, and he is huge. He has 2 items, and he's on a flank.
I think we might be watching Jurassic Park. I see the trembling in the water. 369 comes around, and Breed just got caught in the porter potty. He's gone, and top esports, they're looking to take the fight. They know they have the advantage. They know they can take Weibo down a peg, and they're going to move right back to the Dragon Point. Set up.
And you mentioned how hard the execution is when you have Gnar. You need to have the perfect timing to get into the team fights with the Mega Gnar bar already charged. Breed did not have that available to him. He came straight back from the grave, straight into that gray screen, but Weibo Gaming want to contest for their soul point.
They try to move in here. Nature's Grasp come to use. Tarzan actually separating a lot, but no, he cannot get it. It's JackeyLove that ends up taking out a lightning crash from Creme. His moment to step up as Xiaohu comes around the corner now. Light stepping up his own right to push top esports away, and it will be, as the dust settles, the dragon going the way of top.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like JackeyLove has some hidden smite somewhere in his kit when he plays AD carries, taking the Baron away from 2 smite holders in game number 2. And right now there's 2 junglers around, yet he's the one securing the dragon as well. Let's watch this one more time. Breathe. He's in Gnar form, doesn't have his flash available, ends up getting caught between a Crocodile, a Rock, a Hard Blaze, the whole shebang. Doesn't really have any chance to react right there. No summoners, as well as being very squishy. Ends up going down, and that's all she wrote. 4 versus 5 for Weibo Gaming. I mean, the 5 versus 5 is hard as it is, so with numbers deficit right there for Weibo, it didn't get any easier.
I think we're also seeing in this that Creme just provides so much sustained damage if you're going to be taking these long fights or you're going to be taking these grouped up fights, and he is untouched. And I think that's why Zeri has become such a prominent figure in this series in particular, just because it always provides that consistent damage with all these big setup tools that you have going on both sides.
And I want to take you to the other side, because Weibo Gaming were also big advocates for that Zeri. However, I feel like Corki being open sort of baited Weibo Gaming. I feel like, hey, that's the first time that Corki is open in this entire series, and they have been banning it away consistently, on red side at least. So they go baited into going for that Corki. Now, Xiaohu can catch up. It's just like 800 gold lead onto Creme right here. But it needs to be more like the B1 for both of these teams needs to provide so much value. And so far, it hasn't really for neither of them. I mean, sure, Creme played Zeri in game number 2, but it didn't look good until the later stages of the game.
And how wild is it that 369 is the one person that could say he's got 100% KP on top esports' side? He's on 2 items. He's on the Renekton blind pick on red side, but he's making it work in a questionable pick that we've been wondering if it actually is worth keeping around. Now he's going to have to continue to make that worth it here, though, as we do see top esports moving in to try to clear some of the vision of Weibo. You have to look at the side lane as well. Breathe is point and present down there. He has TP. 369's is not available just yet, but getting close.
You see the pressure going down that bot lane. Weibo Gaming know the timers, as you mentioned, on the teleports. They're looking to potentially pull the trigger right now, force top esports to have to run into them. Again, 369, as you mentioned, would have to run all the way from the bot side of the map. However, don't forget, top esports is still 3,000 gold in the lead. 1K over top, mid, and jungle. The top side of the map has been absolutely incredible for them. And they do have 2 items on each. Just about all the Tian had to split his attention between staying alive and dealing a little more damage, going towards that Rift, making it earn the hourglass at the same time.
We'll be getting pretty close, though, I'm sure, as he has a huge CS differential in Tarzan, but that's kind of the name of the game on the poor little Maokai. Although we aren't seeing the tanky Maokai, we're seeing the more utility, but also AP Maokai here as well, trying to soften up that damage profile a little bit for him, Weibo. There is still, though, the question of which go button is more potent. I feel like, especially with the decisiveness we've seen picked up a little bit by Weibo across this series, Crisp has the opportunity to make literally a momentous game-changing moment with a Solar Flare if he can catch one of these members without a summoner spell. But it's about getting those summoner spells first and foremost.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult right now because top esports are waiting for either the Baron or the Dragon to come up, so they're definitely going to have those summoner spells for those 2 neutral objectives.
Oh my god!
What?
Sheesh! That was a lot of damage.
Hold up! Is that why the Corki was banned twice in a row?
I mean, I think there's a reason why we've seen it have so many wins in the LPL.
I mean, okay, I get it. He's 3 levels up, but they've got the same items.
That's wild.
Oh my days.
Your mana plus Noon Quiver go crazy.
Yeah, Noon Quiver is so strong for Corki.
Now
right,
we
pulling
actually,
it back.
yeah, we are seeing a little bit of move for the vision play around the Baron pit right now, but there is a dragon coming up in about 10 seconds. This would be a sole point for Weibo, but it looks like they just want to keep presence around this top side first.
I feel like for Weibo Gaming, it's so important to pretty much establish vision everywhere, and specifically around the Baron. Because if they lose the Dragon right here, it's not the worst scenario possible. Top esports just get a second Dragon for themselves. But if they lose control of the Baron, it makes it so difficult for them to walk back in. Now, having the Scuttle Crab, they can look to take trades onto top esports and push that mid lane wave.
You're starting to see Light having trouble getting some sticking damage here, but he is a pick that will be able to clean up and follow up
oh my
a
God.
lot of the setup there. Yeah, the wave clear. Absolutely crazy. 369 going to come out of his base with a Spirit Visage as well. Coming back to join both top laners again, still having their TP setups. Weibo, they're going to start the Baron. Oh,
Like
the Trisha
the
Brug.
mid
Okay.
lane.
They get a little bit of vision. They know they're going to move over. I think Weibo have been found out. They're not going to try and force this one here just yet.
I feel like what they're trying to do is pull 369's teleport because they're deep in Breathe into Fog of War, thinking that he's going to walk there, so 369 would have to equally respond.
Look at the
but
flank.
now Breathe is back in the bot lane, so top esports know they have a flank behind Weibo with the Crocodile.
He's going to decide not to go for it here. I think he realizes
Weibo
he
is
doesn't
aware.
answer there as well. Weibo playing very well in the map. Again, this lead is not as big as you might think it is. Weibo have a lot of strength packed into a little package in Xiaohu. Light can't get caught, though. Does get a chunk of damage there as top laners will recede back to their side lane. We will not get any more action in mid lane.
Great awareness right there from Weibo Gaming, knowing that they're getting pinched Breathe did give the information that 369 was missing, but Chris might be missing as well if he goes down.
Pull the play back. Here's the TP coming in. Xiaohu's joined. Creme is gone. You blink and you'll miss it. JackeyLove, he's over the side of the pit. Meiko, he is going to make it out with his flash alive. But Weibo, they have now moved into the Baron pit. The health bars are not very big, and here comes the rest of top Esports. Oh, Meiko, he's gone. Tian, he needs to step up. He needs to have the moment. JackeyLove is getting hounded by Chris. 369 overextends. 369 gets a massive shield from the Sterix, though. Can he fight it through? Tian going golden. Tarzan, he's back in the pit, but the Baron's not getting low. 369 sees the angle, but he rolls a 3, and that's a critical miss, as now JackeyLove will get out of that fight. Weibo have moved in. They've taken everything, and they'll get the big purple worm.
Weibo Gaming with a huge team fight victory. They shoot up a goal difference right there, which is for the first time this game positive for their team. They take down 3 members of top esports and the purple worm, and I'll eat my words for that, Jhin, because Light is 4, 0, and 3, almost 2,000 gold up onto JackeyLove, and it starts right here. Creme and Meiko have been going at it the entire game, literally, and it's always who's gonna get caught up first. But Weibo Gaming have so much setup and so much range, and they're leveraging this perfectly. Look at the curtain call, zoning away both Meiko and JackeyLove. And now that these 2 members are chunked, they're the 2 members that don't have TPs to get back into the fights. So the second that Light sees Meiko walk in this Tri-Brush, punishes by instantly flashing forward.
That dopamine from the 4th shot rings true. Really, really tight centered play by Weibo. The fact they make it out of here with so many members alive, and I gotta say 369 saw an angle, but he unfortunately saw the wrong one. As Weibo, they take Soul Point Dragon. They move into the bot side. The Baron is still up for a minute and 40 seconds. They can take so much of the standing gold on the map here, Trouble.
And just a quick reminder, they are also on Soul Point. So controlling the map and getting as many structures as possible while they have the Baron up will just make it that much easier to then walk into enemy jungle and set down vision with no towers left up for top esports on the top side of the map. The last one's gonna fall down. There's only 1 left in the top lane, but that doesn't matter. It's on the wrong side of the dragon.
Top esports backs against the wall here in this game in particular. They can push out just a little bit, maybe clear some of this. Weibo feeling a little bit apprehensive of going too far forward. They still have the Baron up for another minute. They're waiting for the crashes to come down and the timing of these waves. You always have to be careful of the jaws that top esports can close down upon you. Nature's Grasp going to come across, hit 3 members there, and that actually just might make the difference. Curtain call opens up, and it's a beautiful performance from Breathe. 3-man knock into the wall. Now Weibo, they're under the turrets, they're under the skin of top esports, and they're about to take game number 3.
Weibo Gaming turned the game around, 1 team fight at a time, and they're looking to take match point versus top esports.
Xiaohu stands and says, who needs Zeri? Weibo stand as a defiant factor in top esports' dreams and their wishes for redemption. And now Weibo themselves will be on match point of our lower finals.
What an incredible turnaround from Weibo Gaming. They have been leveraging the range so well in all these fights. The fact that they had so many go buttons. You saw top esports, even though they had so much self-agency on every single one of their carries, there was just so much CC and so much range on the side of Weibo Gaming that they kept getting caught individually every single time they tried to walk in for those team fights. But honestly, I just want to commend Weibo Gaming for bringing back a game. When they are in a deficit, they don't find it very easy to come back. Right here, 1 team fight is all it took.
Put some respect on Jin's name, but more on Light's name as well. What a performance from the guy against JackeyLove and Meiko, against the pivotal pieces that make the LPL what they are. We'll see what happens with the game number